Yeah, what a great demo. Thank you both for presenting today. And we should know we did run out of time for audience questions, but please, if you have any, drop your comments in the chat and we'll pass those along to the team so they can answer them directly.
That was a strong example of how AI assistants are already being used in real workflows today. It raises a question for everyone watching. And the question is, where do you see the biggest opportunity for AI assistants in your organization? And we have a poll where you can answer that. I will ask that again. Where do you see the biggest opportunity for AI assistance in your organization? Is it A, underwriting submission processing, B, claims FNOL document review, C, customer service agent support, or D, data and reporting or analytics?
Yeah, George, I'll be really interested to see the results of this. We'll show them at the end of today's session before we get out of here. But before that, we are going to shift into a short discussion.
Alan, we're calling this segment AI Assistance in Action, What's Real, What's Working, and What's Next?
Yeah, George, the goal here is to connect what we just saw in Cogitate's demo to what's happening across the broader insurance industry.
Think of this as a way to understand how tools like this are being used in real-world environments today. We prepared a mix of recent opinion pieces and original reporting from carrier management to capture how this shift is unfolding.
Yeah, George, and we should say as we go into this, we're going to be given a pretty good overview or a good summary of some of these articles, but the reporting that carrier management does is really in depth. So we encourage anybody who is watching today, if any of these catch your eye, definitely go check out the full story or the full reporting or the full commentary on the CM website. And with that said, George, let's go ahead and get rolling. I think the first question I want to ask you is, how are insurance professionals thinking about the potential of AI assistance?
Alan, for that, we'll start with an October 2024 piece that titled CEO View, How to Bolster Commercial Underwriting with AI Assistance by Prakash Vasant. In that contributed article, Vasant wrote that commercial insurance underwriters and MGAs should think of AI assistants as knowledgeable, capable interns. He suggested that these role-based digital coworkers can handle tasks such as assessing the impact of new tenant occupancies as they're added to policyholder schedules, flagging missing information from submissions and workers' compensation audits, and ingesting new appetites as those appetites change. One practical example he included was this. Because AI assistants can quickly ingest underwriting guidelines and determine whether a risk falls with an appetite, underwriters can focus their manual review on risks that fall into gray areas. He outlined several other examples in the full piece. We should note that Vasant is CEO of Neurometrics, a provider of generative AI technology and data for commercial insurance risk assessment. So with that said, Alan, are we still early, or is this already happening at scale?
Yeah, George, I think that's a great context question. And this reporting should give us some idea of the scope. Less than 3 months ago, major insurer Travelers announced a deal with Anthropic that would equip 10,000 engineers and data scientists at Travelers with AI assistance. During a fourth quarter 2025 earnings call, Travelers CEO Alan Schnitzer told investment analysts that more than 20,000 Travelers professionals already use AI tools on a regular basis. He also said that the company's claims call centers are getting leaner, with automation tools providing an efficiency boost. Schnitzer also stressed that potential benefits of automation and AI extend beyond claims call centers. Other use cases enhance underwriting, decision quality, and efficiency, and improve the experience for customers, agents, brokers, and employees, he said. So with that, George, I want to pass it back to you. Are we seeing any other real-world impact on insurers?
Alan, we are. In a recent piece by carrier management editor Suzanne Scalfane, Sue reported that AIG is all in on AI that is directly focused on its core activities, underwriting, and claims. Company leadership shared that message during an Investor Day event in March. AIG CEO Peter Zaffino was quoted saying, "We're focusing on this as an end-to-end process, not on the fringes and not just for expense savings." That set up a discussion of what AIG executives described as a strong agentic AI ecosystem, where AI agents handle tasks ranging from data ingestion on one end of the underwriting process to figuring the propensity to bind at the other. That ecosystem, which involves partnerships between AIG and well-known technology companies Anthropic and Palantir, will help AIG underwriters get through 500,000 plus E&S submissions and book at least $4 billion in new business premiums in the year 2030, Zaffino projects. Already, AI tools that are up and running in financial lines allow AIG to review 100% of every private and nonprofit business submission that comes in without adding underwriters, Wade said.
Holy smokes, George. Those are huge numbers, man. And I think this is probably a good time to bring up our second poll question. And that is, we're asking, what is your biggest barrier to adopting AI today? Our options for that one are A, integration with existing systems, B, data quality or access, C, internal buy-in and change management, and D, budget/ROI uncertainty.
We'll share the results of both polls before we close today. Before that, though, Alan, I have to ask, do we have any recent forward-looking AI content in the Carrier Management archives?
Well, I'm glad that you asked, George, because we certainly do. Craig Weber and Tim Queen of Cognizant penned a contributed piece for CM in January that addressed exactly that. They predicted that AI will be the competitive lever that defines insurers' success in 2026. The pair pointed to 5 specific predictions. They were, number 1, AI accelerates the strategic mashup of business and technology. 2, a flywheel effect will drive AI development down additional productive paths. 3, horizontal AI investments will dominate, but the insurance sector will accelerate. 4, AI will change the core systems modernization conversation. And 5, AI's next phase will trigger a pendulum swing toward human centricity. Weber and Queen said AI enthusiasm is rational because of the technology's unique applicability to the data-driven world of insurance and its suitability for solving some of the industry's most vexing problems. With all that said, George, I'm wondering, how should insurers think about AI strategy?
Alan, the numbers get bigger and bigger. That is a multi-billion-dollar question. Carrier Management's Kimberly Talon dug into some possible answers in a February story centered on a Federato-hosted webinar. During that event, experts said that to unlock AI's full potential, carriers need to first navigate shifting workforce dynamics, modernize outdated legacy systems, and overcome their tech scoping problem. The panelists said, siloed legacy systems pose a major barrier for carriers looking to leverage AI's full potential. One added that trying to bolt an AI chat interface onto a legacy framework doesn't really work because the underlying technology is too slow and fragmented. Another panelist said carriers need to focus on modernizing product definition to speed quoting. If the bind and issuance process still takes a while, that isn't really a problem, he said, but the quoting process needs to happen fast. Well, Alan, for some parting words, how about we focus on action? What, in your mind, are the first steps in making this transformation?
George, I think I'd go back to that piece that you just mentioned right there. Near the end, there's a section where one of the panelists emphasized the importance of setting an approach that is both achievable and ambitious. She said that she's seen tremendous success with AI, but she's also noticed that carriers often stumble when it comes to scope. Some carriers think too small, applying AI to a very limited use case, and therefore they're not seeing the returns that they expect, while others think too big and the effort becomes unwieldy and almost impossible to govern or measure. So from my perspective as your trusty co-host today, I would think that working with an expert to get that part of the equation right seems like as strong a starting point as any.
Alan, it's been a pleasure to be your trusty co-host today and host today's event with you. Thanks again for Cogitate. Making demos available is so important for businesses to understand the tools they need to adapt and grow.
Likewise, George, and thanks again to all of us who joined today, who were a part of this this presentation and were a part of the chat and just got to see the demo and kind of review some of this reporting with us. Before we sign off, we do want to take a look at our poll results. So let's see what won both of those. It looks like for the first poll, which was where do you see the biggest opportunity for AI assistance in your organization, we had a 50-50 split between underwriting and submissions processing and claims, F&OL, and document review. For our next poll, which was what is your biggest barrier to adopting AI today? Again, we had two that performed, two higher performers. We had integration with existing systems and internal buy-in and change management as the two biggest barriers that we have noted here, with some respondents also pointing to budget and ROI uncertainty.
Some really interesting numbers there, Alan. I didn't expect the dead heat in the first one. A reminder to our audience, you can rewatch this full webinar on riskyfuture.com/demo-days. Again, that's riskyfuture.com/demo-days. And thanks everyone who tuned in today.
We'll see you all next time.
What if the biggest decision of your career was never made by a person? Imagine this. You spend hours perfecting your resume for it to be scanned, scored, and possibly rejected in seconds by an algorithm. Now flip the script. Candidates are using AI to write those resumes, while companies deploy AI to filter them out. This is all raising the stakes for companies and candidates alike in the hiring process. Welcome to Between the Lines, Carrier Management's video series where we take a deep dive into the latest trends in insurance. My name's Elizabeth Losfield, and I'm the Deputy Editor of Carrier Management and your host. For this episode, we're examining the rapidly shifting terrain of AI-driven hiring. In an industry like insurance, which is facing widening talent gaps and mounting pressure to modernize, artificial intelligence promises speed and efficiency. But underneath that promise lies ethical dilemmas, legal exposure, and financial risk. From ghost job postings to AI-generated candidates, from invisible screening systems to questions of bias and accountability, this episode pulls back the curtain on how hiring really works in the age of the algorithm. We'll hear from experts such as Akine Akwibo, Chief Operating Officer at Socotra, Madeline Mann, HR leader and founder of Self-Made Millennial, and Bill Nance, CEO of StrataTech. Because in a world where machines are making decisions about people, the real question is no longer who gets hired, it's who or what technology is doing the hiring.